Good thing we've got at least someone here that can kind of educate us on faith in finance. Drew Blazsik is in studio right now, so happy to have him here because he knows what he's talking about. And we've been talking about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and so forth, and we're continuing that today, right?
Yeah, I got tons of stuff, so I don't know where to start.
Let's start at the beginning. That might be
okay.
Top of the page is always a good idea.
So a couple things. So let me talk about Bitcoin real quick, so people know. I said it has some value to it, and we talked about how you can transfer money. You could have any government come up to you, and you actually literally can protect your wealth. Nobody can take it from you if you memorize this password. So I kind of want to go about Bitcoin because I don't think a lot of people understand this, that you have to go to an exchange to purchase it. Now, the problem is, if you guys remember FTX, that story with Sam Bankman.
Yeah. Yes, right.
That was not a crypto. That was an exchange that people purchase crypto. It's like a bank without any insurance, FDIC. And it was just a big fraud. They were using that money for this and all the accounting practices.
A lot of people associate him as like the founder of crypto, but that's not right. He was doing something else with it, right?
He was just an exchange, and we got to bring this up. So when I purchased some Bitcoin, it was on blockchain.org. And it made me nervous. Like, what if something happened with that? Because I had it on my SoFi bank account, and SoFi sent me a letter. I want to say, so I did it last October, and then about 3 months after that, it said, we're not going to carry Bitcoin anymore because they didn't want the legal ramifications or the, I'm not sure exactly why. So I had to go to blockchain.org. So then it made me nervous. So what you do is there's something, if you guys heard of a ledger, it's a ledger that I bought at Best Buy. It's like a thumb drive. And what it is, so you have it on an exchange. I plug it in my computer, and then it takes that digital accounting practice. That's what Bitcoin is pretty much. And it takes it on, not to the ledger, but it takes it off of an exchange, but it's still in the Bitcoin network. And what it did was I have two different passwords. I have a password to get onto the ledger. Now, if I lose that ledger, it gave me a 31-word password.
Whoa.
So I wrote it down in 3 different spots. Maybe I should be saying this to people. Now they're going to search my house. I had to write it down 3 different spots, and you're supposed to hide it in good locations. And if you ever lose that ledger, you could buy another ledger, go on there, and if you have that password, you can regain it. That 31-word password is what protects it, that no one else can grab it if you get it off the exchange.
And let me ask this question. So if you lose that password permanently, what happens to the Bitcoin that you had?
So if you took it off the exchange and now you're sole responsible for that Bitcoin, that ledger, if you lose that 31-word password and you lose the ledger, that's important. So I got a 6-digit password that does the ledger. And then I got a 31. If I lose the ledger, I got the 31 word password. You lose your money then.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
But think about the power behind that, though.
No.
If you memorize that 31 word password, and let's say you had $1 million on it, no one can take it. No one has any control. It is so encrypted and so secure. That's the value. I think that Bitcoin has because of that.
Okay.
So that's what I did. I actually took it off the exchange, and I wanted to secure that money so I didn't have to worry about some shady Sam Bankman Friedman, whatever his name is, that could take it. So a couple things about Bitcoin. As of October 24, it has a market cap of 1.2 trillion. So that's about 60,000 per Bitcoin, and about 19.77 million Bitcoins are out there. And it's capped at 21 million. So you only can go up to 21 million Bitcoins. And every so often it halves. It's very confusing, but it releases it up until, I believe, 2040. And then it's capped at 21 million. You can never get another Bitcoin. So that's some information about it. So what I want to do, I think we have to do a couple more episodes on this to explain it. Is it positive or negative? And I'm going to go both routes here again. There's one of my favorite priests called Father Fahey. He wrote a book called Money Manipulators and the Social Order. And he wrote about St. Thomas Aquinas, his views on economics. He said, it centers on the family as the fundamental unit of society. Economics studies family relations, including those between husband and wife, parents and children, and employers and workers. It also examines how families interact with the external goods or wealth to meet their material needs, which are essential for leading a virtuous life. And then St. Thomas emphasizes that money, while a human invention for facilitating exchange, is a secondary natural wealth like food, clothing, and shelter. Money's purpose is to enable families to acquire the material goods necessary for virtuous living. However, St. Thomas does warn against the misuse of money. If financial manipulation becomes dominant, distorting production and distribution, it can harm family life and society. Those who control money must serve as the common good, and the state should ensure that money remains stable in the value to promote the exchange. So with those principles, I believe how St. Thomas talks about, if family is the most important unit in society and money is there to help the family, we have to think, does Bitcoin and the U.S. dollar, we can examine that, does it help facilitate the family life?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's a great question. So he emphasizes more. He says, if money or finance takes precedence over the well-being of families and society, it leads to disorder, with financial manipulators gaining undue control over government and society. St. Thomas argues that the state has a responsibility to maintain a stable money supply, just as it regulates the standards of justice or prevent economic and social decay. So you see what he says right there? Disorder. I remember that one quote, I think it's in the 1100s by a pope, St. Thomas More in the 1300s. He said, and we're going to go back to usury. If usury is allowed, this is what a pope said before he became a pope. He was one of the head theologians back then. He said, all evils would pursue if usury is allowed. And what is usury? Usury is the thought of making money without the productive asset, without the work. I just want to make it with no risk. So I think when we go forward in the next couple of weeks, through what St. Thomas talked about, we can get more into speculators. We could talk about the onion. I think you brought that up a couple weeks ago. We could talk about the tulip mania. And what is, you have gold, you have US dollar, you have Bitcoin. And you got to think about, and then you could also go into cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency can be manipulated big time, those weird cryptos that people create, pump and dump schemes. And that's what we have to look at. And more specifically, we're looking at Bitcoin, but crypto can be very dangerous, I think, to people because they're just trying to get rich quick.
Wow. So much to learn about this, and you really, I've learned so much in the last couple of weeks from you, Drew.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And again, I want to get, as we continue this conversation, which I think it's great that we're going to do, how do we balance some of those benefits with how, in some ways, as you pointed out before, this goes a bit against some of the Catholic Church teaching. So it'd be good to find that balance and then see at the end of the day, obviously you've done it, so you think it's a good thing to do, and what you think about other people doing it as well. Thank you very much, Drew. Appreciate all your insights on this. It's really helpful.
Thank you. I'll see you guys next week.
All right.
What's your favorite color, by the way?
Red?
No, it's blue. It's blue.
Oh, man, he almost got it, too.
Yeah, you almost got that one right.